to mute your...
Yeah, so thanks for joining this AMA. Sorry about the delay, and there was a little bit of a technical difficulty. We're trying to get this stream live over our software to YouTube, but I think everything's sorted out now. And I'm going to start by taking the first question. Again, thank you for submitting your questions in advance. And me and Bob have picked some of the questions that we think each one of us can answer, and I'll start with the first one. So the question is, will you be able to short a stock? So directly with the Sologenic ecosystem, it allows you to buy and sell specific and certain stocks from the list of 30,000 stocks. But in order to short, we're actually planning to release an update for CoinField that you can do margin trading and be able to leverage your position through CoinField. So you can, that way you can, using Solo, you can short your stock. But that's an update that's coming to CoinField in the future. We'll announce once we're closer to the date, but we have that in the pipeline, and it's one of the features that we want to get in as soon as possible as one of the updates for CoinField. I'll have Bob answer one question.
Yes, so there are a lot of questions. I go through one of the questions that they ask, how would you introduce Sologenic Ecosystem to the people who have not heard about the project yet? So obviously, we have a great marketing plan. We follow our marketing plan step by step. It's a brand new project and ecosystem, so it takes a time. That's normal, but there's something very interesting within Sologenic Ecosystem. We have multiple funds. One of the main funds, it's called Sologenic Expansion Fund. So the purpose of Sologenic Expansion Fund is to help the mass adoption and promotion of Solo coins globally by obviously by hosting, gathering meetups, and also summits around the world. In 2020, we are going to have 6 summits in 6 different cities. The first one is coming up in Tokyo. It's going to be in February or March. More information will be disclosed. The one after that would be London, and we have 4 other coming up, which we are going to announce them one by one. Maybe Reza, you want to take another question?
Sure. Can you explain the purpose of the Solo coin? Is this to make value flow off ledger easier? So the purpose of the Solo coin is for liquidity and market making. When we're tokenizing assets such as stocks or ETFs, the Solo tokens are required in order for us to be able to settle with the brokerage firms. And so that's the main purpose of the Solo coin. And there's a lot of other benefits to hold Solo coins. One is, for example, that you can spend your crypto. Another one is that you can earn crypto by staking. But the one part of the question is this to make value flow off ledger easier? Absolutely right. So using Solo, we can do it and do the settlements with all the third parties, such as the brokerage firms. I'll take another question. The question is, I just heard that Solo allows CoinField to do the market making and liquidity providing. Is that the reason for Solo instead of just having the stocks trade with XRP? Yes, absolutely. So because CoinField is going to be the gateway for tokenizing, then the Solo token allows the system, this ecosystem, to be able to flow off the ledger, like I said, and at the same time to be used for liquidity and market making. So CoinField will use Solo for market making across the pairs we have on the exchange. I hope that answers your question. I'll have Bob take another question.
Sure, thanks, Reza. There is another common question which I've seen it everywhere. So people, they keep asking that if Solo coins are stable coins. I would like to clarify here, within Sologenic ecosystem, there are two types of coins. There is Solo coins, which is designed for liquidity providing and market making. And then we have tokenized assets, like tokenized stocks and ETFs. Tokenized stock and ETF, they are a stable coin backed by stock, ETF, or even fiat. So users within Sologenic ecosystem, they can generate and issue stable coins backed by fiat, stock, or ETFs. So these are, there is a difference between Solo coins and tokenized assets. Maybe I can just take another question as well. Another question. Let me just go through that. Okay. Are we going to be able to trade the stocks on January 1st? No. We have a milestone. The milestone, it is on our white paper as well as sologenic.com. We stick to our milestone. We are going to launch every step based on that. In Q1, we're going to see a lot of developments, a lot of new features are going to be released. I think Reza will go through that step by step, but very quickly in Q1, we are going to release Solo decentralized wallet. So, you can download it on your phone or you can download it on your computer. We are going to enable Solo trading. Solo is going to be listed on global exchanges. We are already in touch with global exchanges. Solo is going to be listed on other exchanges. And the most interesting part is Solo prepaid credit card. So you can put your asset as a collateral and spend it anywhere in the world in real time. In Q2, the CoinField's decentralized exchange is going to be launched in Q2. And Q3, finally, once we have the securities brokerage license in hand, we are going to enable securities trading on CoinField. That means that users are able to tokenize assets and trade it. Maybe Reza, you can take another question.
Sure. I have two questions that are very similar, so I'm going to combine them into one.
Oh, you had the same questions.
Question is, can I walk you through how the Sologenic ecosystem works? Mm-hmm. And how about a user going and buying a specific stock from NASDAQ or NYSE? And so basically how everything from a user standpoint works. So once the trading and tokenization of the stocks are available, users can go into their CoinField account. So there's two ways to buy a tokenized asset. The first way is for users to go to CoinField, fund their account, and go to the specific designated page for tokenizing stocks. They can choose the stock of their choosing, like Tesla or any other stock that's available on many, over 25 global exchanges, and they can choose how many stocks they want to buy and proceed with the purchase. As soon as they do that, the stocks are tokenized on demand and are added into their CoinField's wallet. And from that moment, they are free to take those tokens into the decentralized ledger and trade it there or trade it on the CoinField centralized exchange. So that's the first method to acquire a tokenized stock. The second method is to actually go straightly and buy it from the decentralized exchange. So let's say that somebody has already purchased a stock of Apple, then they are willing to trade that with either Solo or XRP or any other asset on the XRP decentralized ledger. And that's how they can basically acquire those tokenized stocks. There's a lot of details to that, but that was basically how everything works in a nutshell. I'll take another question. And so the question is, what will be the major plus points of tokenized stocks and fiat? So if you read the white paper for Sologenic, we have a section that how everything is basically tokenized. Even in the financial world, a lot of things are already tokenized, but they're not on the blockchain. As an example, fiat is already tokenized. It's a number in your credit card, your bank account. Stocks flowing around are tokenized, but not on the blockchain, on centralized ledgers. So tokenizing is a way for, it's a way for representing value of any asset. And using that token, you can easily transfer the ownership of that asset to anyone without ever having to worry about to actually move around the physical asset. So here we're talking about stocks. As you know, stocks will be purchased and are put into a trust company that is secure and has an API endpoint so that people can see how much liquidity and how much stocks or ETFs are in the trust, sort of like a proof of reserves, proof of solvency kind of thing. And so the stocks will sit in the trust and a tokenized representation can flow around on the XRP ledger. And it's pretty fast. You can transfer your tokenized assets in a matter of seconds and have other people hold them, or you can sell them. And one of the bigger things is the conversion of stocks, not only carrying stocks on the blockchain, but also conversion to stocks, to and from stocks. Let's say, you're an investor and you manage a portfolio of cryptocurrencies, and now you're interested to purchase some stocks, say MoneyGram or any other stocks that you guys are interested in. Then you can easily diversify your portfolio and allocate some of the assets that you hold from cryptocurrency to actual stocks and be able to sell them at any time. This is fast, can be done in seconds, and you don't really have to be worried about to liquidating your cryptocurrency, taking it out, and basically going with a brokerage house or a bank or a trade house and go about buying the stocks. That's one of the major advantages of this whole system. Bob?
Thanks, Reza. The other questions, I'm probably going to answer one of, yes. Okay, how Sologenic ecosystem is good for XRP? So that's another great question here. We are, I would like to clarify the fact that we are XRP Pro, so we love XRP. We've been always supportive in the whole community, and if as you know, the whole CoinField platform is based on XRP. So we are a supporter of XRP ourselves, but we are not here to increase or decrease the price of XRP. So Sologenic, it's a separate ecosystem which is built on top of XRP ledger to help, obviously, the mass adoption of cryptocurrency, especially XRP. Now, how Sologenic system is good for XRP, there are multiple benefits. I would just go through some of them. I've been tweeting about that for a while, and probably some of you guys, read the tweet, but I would like to clarify it again. So first of all, Sologenic ecosystem pairing 30,000 stocks, over actually 30,000 stocks and ETFs with XRP. That's huge. You see so-and-so cryptocurrency exchange, they come up with two or three XRP-based pairs, and everyone get excited, say, oh, wow, 2-3 XRP-based pairs. No, with Sologenic, we are pairing 30,000 stocks and ETFs with XRP, and you can see what sort of huge volume is going to bring for the XRP. That's number one. I think that's the biggest one. That's the the biggest benefit for the XRP and XRP community. The other benefit, any transactions on Sologenic ecosystem, you send Solo coins from A to B, you send tokenized assets like stocks from A to B, they are going to burn XRP. So it's going to burn XRP. XRP are going to be burned for every transactions. Beside that, I think we believe Sologenic is the most sophisticated ecosystem, financial ecosystem ever built on top of XRP ledger. And once Sologenic is launched, it will prove that XRP ledger, what sort of strength XRP ledger has, obviously. Reza, maybe we can take another question.
That's great. Thanks, Bob. There's another question. I think it's very much related to what you just answered, but I'll take it. What percentages do you expect in the usage of XRP and Solo? That's a great question, because essentially using either the decentralized ledger or the centralized CoinField centralized ledger exchange, users can trade either XRP or Solo with tokenized assets or with one another's. For example, XRP versus Solo or Solo versus XRP. And we believe that a lot of people will use XRP as the reason for that is that XRP has been around and everybody has XRP, and it's more available as of now, XRP for people. So it's because of its availability, XRP will flow into the system easier. Now, the percentage, I'm not exactly sure. Is it 50-50? What's the percentage for that? But a lot of XRP will be used in the system for all the transactions and transfers. I can take another question. So the question is, what is your plan regarding the open source community? You've announced some incentives for developers to work on some projects related to Sologenic. What do you plan to achieve with this in the long term? So we just announced this through a PR a couple of days ago. And so we're really excited, to take our path into building Sologenic ecosystem to actually work. This means we've already started implementation of some of the libraries, some of the services around Sologenic, but we also want to get developers involved. And we've actually had a lot of developers interested. We distributed a Google Forms. I'm sure the developers who filled it know it. And we got a lot of responses from different backgrounds, from different programming languages and skills and all that. And it's very exciting to see that, that many people, developers, are interested in the community and getting themselves involved with the project. Over the next few days, we're going to be basically separating all these subsections on what needs to be done, what are the issues, what are the features, and all that. And we're going to talk to these applicants who have applied through the PR we released, and we're going to get them involved. Incentives will also be announced at the time. We're dividing all these questions and distributing the questions, and we're basically planning to have a really good incentive, but we'll get a better picture once the specifics and the description of each and every problem is outlined, and we're going to start doing that in a couple of days, actually. I'll take I think another question, and then I'll have Bob. I think that's my last question.
You're taking so many questions. I'm kidding.
I will have this question, Bob, and then you take the
Sure.
rest of the AMA. So the question is, how is CoinField progressing while we're building Sologenic? So basically, while we're working, our team is working on Sologenic. we're also working on CoinField, and we have really great features coming up. And I'm not sure if I can announce them, but those features include the coins that we have always, wanted to launch. They have already been in the testnet. Some of them are already pre-selected, and we actually just had a meeting about this internally yesterday, and I believe we're going to release some of the new coins in Q1 in 2020. Apart from that, lending platforms and a lot of other things that I don't want to, announce already are going to be released for CoinField, that are going to be working side by side for Sologenic. That's all the questions that I would take, but I will probably have other questions at the end of this AMA. Bob, I'll give it to you.
Okay, perfect. So, my team just sent me 3 other questions. Question number 1, how do you see the price of Solo by end of 2020? Probably, you guys know, I'm not in a position to go over the answer of these questions. We're not a financial advisor. We do not advise, we do not give any financial advice to any person, but you have to do your own math, look at the total supply, and so obviously you have to do your own research. So I'm not going to be able to answer that questions. The other question is future of Sologenic ecosystem and what's the ultimate goal? So that's, I really like this question. The ultimate goal for Sologenic ecosystem is to get as decentralized as possible. By saying as decentralized as possible, the way that we are looking at it, we want to be only the point of compliance and KYC and AML and on and off fiat ramping. That would be our ultimate goal. So we let the whole ecosystem to be function, and we don't want to be involved in that. So we just want to be the point of KYC and fiat on and off ramping. That would be the ultimate goal, which we are pushing it to reach that goal. And obviously we have some other goals, which unfortunately I'm not going to be able to disclose them, but they are exciting features coming up within Sologenic ecosystem that probably you are going to hear more about it in Q1 or Q2. The other questions is regarding to the rewards program and lending platform. I think lending platform, Reza, quickly you mentioned that we are going to have lending program within Sologenic ecosystem. They're going to be launched in Q1. More information will be disclosed later. In terms of reward programs and staking, yes. There are 2 types of reward programs within Sologenic ecosystem. There is the LPRP, which is liquidity providing reward program, which basically users that they put their asset into the liquidity pool for the whole ecosystem to function, they are going to receive up to 20% rewards annually. How we source the financial to pay 20% interest? Technically, we share the whole trading fees with the users that they put their asset into a liquidity pool. This program is called Liquidity Providing Reward Program, LPRP. There are going to be multiple rewards program available on Sologenic platform as well. Those programs are time-based. They could be one-day program, monthly program, or annual program. So more information regarding to those programs, obviously, they're going to be disclosed in Q1. Do you have any other questions, Reza?
That's great. Yeah, I have actually, the team sent me another question that I think seems interesting, so I'll take this one as well. So the question is, Will Solo be available for the Ledger or other cold wallets? So basically, Solo tokens are on, as you know, are on the XRP Ledger. So anybody who has an XRP address can hold Solo tokens. However, we're releasing specific wallets that can make this process a lot easier. As Bob mentioned, that we're releasing desktop applications and mobile applications that users can download and generate their wallets and send and receive Solo or XRP in their wallets. So this is going to be a multifunctional wallet that we're going to be building. And already some of the hardware wallets are working to get the XRP Ledger tokenized assets, tokenized currencies or issued currencies into their platforms like the Ledger and so on. Details I can release later, but that's not what we're doing right now. I think a lot of other people are also involved with doing this. Also, such applications like the XRPL Labs from Wheatset, they're also working on a wallet called XUMM, and they're also releasing that, which we're going to be using those wallets as well. So we're trying to make it as adoptable as possible, and we're trying to be into as many wallets as possible. But anybody with the knowledge of the XRP Ledger and know, if they know how the XRP address works and how sending and receiving works within the blockchain, they can easily program or even make their own applications and release it, as everything's open source and decentralized. And we've already released some libraries in our GitHub repository. The URL is github.com/sologenic. If you want to take a look, I think there's one functional library as of today. And the tokenization of Solo is also open sourced, and it's in the same repository. So for the curious, they want to know how, what flags or what trust lines, how everything works within the tokenized, ecosystem in Solo, they can go to this repository and check. It's documented in there. Thank you. I think that was my last questions, and we want to keep this AMA short. I know everyone's busy, but I would like to thank everyone again. Bob?
Actually, the team, they sent me 6 new questions. Some of them I already replied, but I quickly go through them. So one of the first question is, we are Canadian and we feel we are left over. And why did you move to Europe? So basically, the reason that we move our headquarters from Canada to Europe is, unfortunately, at this moment in Canada, nothing in terms of cryptocurrency, that nothing is clear, and there's always a gray area. People have been working in a gray area since 2018. Every move that every step we had to consult with our legal team, do our own research. End of the day, there's no regulation here in Canada. There's no regulation in Canada, so we don't really know if something that we are doing is legal or not. For that reason, we had to move to another country which cryptocurrency is recognized and is regulated, so we can make sure all the steps that we take, they are legal and we are fully in compliance with the regulation. For that reason, we had to move our headquarters to Europe, and the reason that Canadian and American, they're not going to be able to participate in Sologenic private VIP pre-sale is again, is because of the regulation. Everything that are working on it. Obviously, if we have any further news, we are going to disclose that. But I think that's going to happen in Q1 as well. So at this moment, we are not authorized to allow Canadian or US citizen to participate in private pre-sale. And there's another questions. As well. The other question was, I think I answered that question again. So when we can get Solo cards in Q1, we are going to release Solo credit cards in Q1. Will other exchange be able to list Solo? Obviously, yes, I answered that question. That's one of our major goals. So we have a team only focus on that task. So we are going to list Solo on most of global exchanges in Q1 and Q2. So that's one of our main tasks. The other question, I think the other question, they all have been answered. Reza, do you have any new question on your list?
I think that was most of the questions, but we're not going to let the Canadians down. Obviously, we have CoinField there, and we have already announced some plans for the Q1 sale only for Canadians, and we're working on that very hard as of today. And
but that's going to be only for accredited investors. So
yeah, so hopefully we'll have some news for you guys pretty soon. But that's it, Bob.
Okay, that's great. I think, let me just check one more time, make sure that I don't have any new question on my list before we go offline. I think we cover all the questions.
Okay. One thing I saw twice happening, Solo is not a stable coin, but the tokenized assets are pegged to the actual value of stocks or ETFs. But Solo itself is not. The reason is that Solo needs to grow as the demand grows. So it moves with the demand, and because it is liquidity and market making. That's why it's not a stable coin.
Okay. Yeah, they just sent me another question. What about India? Yes, there's no, we offer service in India. So Indian citizens, they're going to be able to participate in pre-sale. Obviously, there's no restriction in India. Okay, I think we covered all the questions. Actually, they just sent me another one. Let me see what they're saying. I'm a US citizen living in UK for school. Can I purchase? Unfortunately, no. We do not allow US citizens to participate in pre-sale. That's bad. We understand that. We are working super hard, to resolve that. It's not an issue. It's a local regulation in the US. So we are, our legal team, they're working with the regulator in US, and hopefully we can enter to American market in 2020. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for your time. I think, I hope that we covered most of your questions, but still, if you have any questions, feel free to put it on Twitter. You can put it on ask me on Twitter. If you have any question, you can ask me there, and me and Reza, we are happy to answer any questions related to Sologenic Ecosystem.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Bye.